Now the next thing we're going to see is we're going to concentrate on the specific project. The project is a tramline project. Now we're going to call this paragraph number 6. Zenaida is situated on African west coast and the local currency is dinar. So this is your foreign currency, dinar. Although being relatively small when compared with its neighbors, its economy has grown over 15% per annum for the past 5 years. But this has led to an inflation rate currently running at 30%. Now you must remember that whenever your inflation in your country is more than the other plus inflation, you can find the inflation in paragraph number 1. Penn is in a country where it is experiencing a 5% inflation, but Zenaida is experiencing a 30% inflation, so you must always link it back to dinar. Now, whenever your country has a high inflation, we're going to forecast that your future dinar will be depreciating. Your dinar will be weakening. And if you're going to go abroad to do business, you're going to bring home dinar. Now, when you bring home dinar, it's going to be a lousy dinar. That you have to remember. So when your inflation is going to be high, dinar would start to depreciate. Being a net recipient of foreign currency is not going to be advantageous for our company. Now, the democratically elected government has taken full credit for this economic prosperity. This is what all government does. Now, paragraph number 7. The PM is adamant that the performance of the country is as a result of a trade links he created with this MNC. So he says it's all because of me and me. Okay, he says it's because of me all MNCs are coming to his country. He believes that by encouraging investments in these entities in his country, MNCs will generate substantial return. So he says MNCs is going to do well by accepting projects in his country with minimal risk. So we're going to find out, is it true? Is it true that there's no risk in his country? As many of the projects are government contracts. The government, if it's linked to government, there's always element of political risk. So we're going to say more towards political risk. Now, paragraph number 8. There has been a very success of European MNCs investing in Zenaida. They have been very successful. That means not everybody is successful. Not everybody is successful. This is a key point to note later on. With political interference, particularly from the PM. So PM is influencing power. And PM has been blamed for below par returns. Being blamed for below par returns. Rumors have been raised that Prime Minister has been ordering his government to make ad hoc requests for payment. What payments are these? You've got to find out whether it's ethical. Yeah, is it ethical to request for ad hoc payments? Is it in the agreement, or is it just ad hoc payments to be made various times during the contracted period? Now, the government themselves have stated that on a very rare basis, penalties charges have been levied on companies that have not been keeping up to schedule. So they have always been charging penalties, penalties for not keeping up to schedule. So make sure you really know what the government wants. You have to stipulate this in advance in order for us to avoid any penalty charges. Remember part B of the question, we need to talk about the risk and other issues before we accept this project. Paragraph number 9 is carrying forward to the next page. Now, the Zanadian government latest project is to create an environmentally friendly, it's an environmentally friendly, that's good, that is good, doing business and doing business in an environmentally friendly. So it's going to enhance your image, it's going to enhance Penn's image because they are involved in an environmentally friendly electrical tramline network to connect all areas of Enet, which is the Zanadian capital city. The project will usually take 20 years to complete. It's going to take 20 years to complete. However, the initial contract will be to lay the tram line to connect ANET to the national airport. So initial, that means they're not going to give you all the 20 years. We're only given some particular initial years. We're going to see that how many years is it going to be in a while. Providing this is completed to the satisfaction, that's another condition. You only get the rest. You only get the rest if they are satisfied. They will extend the contract to allow initial supplier, whoever got it, to the rest of the city. What is the criteria? You got to find out what is the criteria. What is this criteria that we're going to see? Now, that will be paragraph number 9. This is going to be paragraph number 10. Following the recent meeting between the Prime Minister and the CEO of PAN, the Prime Minister has authorized his government officials to release financial projections to PAN to allow it to assess the financial viability of the contract. So we are given now financial details. The government will pay a fixed price. Now, fixed price means it's not going to change as a result of inflation. So this is going to be actually nominal cash flows as in progressive terms. Now in this case, they're paying you in progressive terms. 10% is going to be 500 million dinars. 20% is going to be 1,000 million dinars. 40% is going to be times 2, 2,000 million. And this is going to be 1,500 million dinars. Okay, and this is going to be fixed price and it's not going to change. Therefore, this automatically becomes nominal revenue. Okay, this is going to be nominal revenue. It's fixed. This is what you're going to receive. This is what you're actually going to receive. This is actual notes and coins. So this is going to be nominal cash flows. To lay tram line between ANET and the national airport, this is the stages. Okay, that paragraph number 12. Careful. 6 months, 12 months. This is going to be year 1. This is going to be year 2. So you're given only 2 years project. So the rest of 18 years you still have 2 plus 18. Can you get this 18? That's the qualitative factors we need to discuss later. Okay, the next thing is I want to highlight to you that this is going to be year half. And this is going to be year 1.5, 1.5. Now this is common nowadays. I've seen many questions. In fact, in the 2011 questions, there was a question in June 2011 by a recent examiner that he uses 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. Now, it's going to be 2 things we need to worry about this time. Whenever you're given 6 months and 18 months, you need to worry about 2 things in an FDI question. Number 1, what is going to be your cost of capital? How do you discount your cost of capital for this? I think that's not a problem. You just use that formula or your calculators, or you can use your table and divide by 2. It's not a good way, but I will show you how to see using a calculator. And another way of why they're giving you this is because this is going to be complicating your purchasing. Sorry, how do you find your forecasted exchange rate using purchasing power parity theory? How are you going to use it? These are the 2 things normally you need to worry about whenever you are given 6 months and 18 months. Now, paragraph number 12. Machinery needs to be purchased in Zennadia at a cost of dinar. This is going to be now. This is going to be your capital expenditure. Okay, this is going to be your capital expenditure. We need to see whether if there is any capital allowance, tax depreciation available or not. The other cost will be locally incurred labor cost, which is estimated to be 30% of the revenue. All values are given in nominal terms. Nominal terms means already included inflation. So that's no problem about inflation in the cash flows. The cash flows are already in nominal term, and this is going to be 30% of the revenue. The government has already purchased, Okay, that's you don't have to buy anymore. The government is giving you the materials. They bought the materials. Your job is to only lay the tram lines. Now there's sufficient material. This is a keyword I want you to highlight here. Low cost provider. That means they're giving you a lousy materials from America, from the United States, and that's going to be, is it going to damage your reputation? Ethics, we're going to discuss that one. They have required pen. They only require pen to lay and test the tram line. Your job is to just lay and test the tram line, and you just buy. They're giving you the materials. Now paragraph number 13, the government taxes companies' profit at 40%. So if you're going to pay 40%, and in first paragraph your country is charging 25%, most probably there won't be any tax when you come back home. Most probably, I mean, there won't be any tax. If there's a double tax agreement, definitely there won't be any tax when you come back home. And this is to be paid in the year in which the profit is earned, same year. So this is not a complication. It's going to be in the same year. The government has no provision to offset, so that's not allowable. So there's no capital allowance, yeah. So that's much easier to do. Now, paragraph number 14. Current spot rate, you got to see it, the dinar to dollar. Now this is going to be 1 unit of dollar. This is going to be 1 unit of the dollar, base currency. Yeah, this is your home currency, your 1 unit of the dollar, and this is going to be in dinar. This is going to be in dinar. One of these rates will be the buy rate, and one of these rates will be the sell rate. We're going to decide which is the buy rate and which is the sell rate. Bearing in mind where are you situated, okay? And we're going to see that later. And this is expected to change in the future based on relative inflation rate. Inflation rate simply means PPPT, purchasing power parity theory, which is telling us law of one price for all the goods. Now, paragraph number 15, the last paragraph here. After 2 years, your initial period, the PM will personally review the work carried out by pen. So PM makes the decision, maybe with some expert help or maybe without expert help. So he's going to make the decision. So there's a lot of political risk in here in order for you to get the balance of the 18 years contract. So you're going to listen to whatever he says just to make sure you're going to get this 18 years remaining. Are you going to listen to whatever he says? That's the question we need to discuss in part B of the question. And to extend the contract to complete a tram line, the exact term of this contract extension will be subject to negotiation, but the returns are expected to be very, very substantial. So it's going to be big. It's going to be a big project. It's going to be a big project. So just want to make sure that whenever they say this point here, let's say for example, let's say the NPV we got is negative, let's say negative NPV. So we're going to say purely on financial ground is no good, but because there's an option attached to this project, we need to mention, I don't think you have to calculate in this question. You can't, we're not given enough data. So we're going to have to add on the real value to this NPV to get the true NPV as a result of this option. Okay, anyway, we're not going to talk about that one much in this part A. Part A is purely financial assessment. Okay, we have read the question. Now it's time to do the answer.